Hey, howdy. Hey, everybody. I wonder who's actually listening to this other than family members. Some people are like, what is this family tree that Ratt Haus Productions is presenting? I don't care about Matt the Rat's background at all. But I don't know. We'll see. I know we have a very special friend on Undercity Chaos in the Mind of the Comic Comer. It's the very first show that I ever started doing podcasting on. And the first time I ever did it, it was just complete crap. I used my iPhone with the program I still use now, Boss Jock. And I just recorded like randomly, and there was no microphones the way I have it set up now. It was just literally everybody talk louder, and like there was no such thing as like pre-mixing it the way I do. It was just unknown at that time, and the first episodes are such horrible pieces of crap. It was bad compared to what I have now. Thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen, everybody that is listening to the Family Tree. This is officially part 2 now, and we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna call this one the Hideout, because last time we left off, apparently they took my grandmother, Ama, away from the city where my grandpa, Appa, lived, to hide her out so they wouldn't get into any shenanigans, if you will. Thank the Lord that we have. I'm just sorry. I'm still in my mind. I'm still thinking about how messed up it was when I first started recording. If you guys don't know, podcasting could be very easy or it could be very difficult. You could even ask my dad. How long did it take for us to set up right now?
Oh, probably about 15, 20 minutes.
15, 20 minutes, give or take.
Give or take. We had to call your cell phone.
I had to find my cell phone. That was the first thing.
Actually, we had to find a AAA battery.
Yeah, AAA all right. AAA battery for my headphones. Then call my cell phone. Then program everything. We have a mixer board. From the mixer board plugs into an iRig, which converts a 3/8 jack into a 1/8 jack. Or no, a 3/4 jack into a 1/8 jack. Then from there, I have to plug in a headphone audio jack, which has up to 5 different headphones, so 5 different people can hear themselves. And then there's another cord that plugs directly into the phone. Then from there, I have to pre-mix through the mixer, and it's just... Now, I feel bad for people that work in radio stations. If they ever have a complication, I'm sure it's hell in a handbag. For me doing recording, for my recording class that I took in college, it is like they tell you straight up, first thing you do is check the power source. If it's not the power source, then you literally unplug and plug in every single cable.
Well, I'm glad you're doing it.
I know, right?
They didn't teach me that back in 1978. We just went in and just started yapping away.
Yeah, well, you were lucky. But you guys also had reel-to-reels back in the day.
Oh, shut up.
Dude,
Does anybody even know what a reel-to-reel is?
I don't know. If you guys don't know what a reel-to-reel is, it is basically giant tape. And one side goes fast and one side goes slow. And it records onto audio through that. So to like rewind and to go forward was just hell in a handbag. It was a complete shot in the dark.
It's
to
like
where you were going to stop.
Giant
cassette player. Yeah. It's like a cassette player on steroids, basically. That's what it was. And it was literally like as big as your head was one reel, and the next one was it was like seeing projections back in the day of like movies and whatnot. But obviously, I don't know why I know about all this stuff. I always know all this stupid old school stuff. I still listen to vinyl. A lot of people do not have given up on vinyl unless you're like a hip hop person or you like vinyl when you DJ and stuff. But I still love vinyl. Actually, did you buy me vinyl back in the day when I was young?
Yeah. You used to go to Radiation Records.
No. I'm talking about when I was like a kid, like 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, I bought you some.
There was the Michael Jackson ones you bought, huh?
Yeah, we kept it in the buffet.
Whatever happened to those, dude? We could sell those for good money. Where are those?
I think we still have it somewhere.
I hope to God we do.
Yeah.
Because I know one of them was ABC.
Yeah, I still have a whole bunch of vinyl albums in the garage in a crate.
Oh, I know. I felt
45s.
I felt really bad because there was this one time. You don't know about this, but Mom was having a garage. I'm sure you knew about the garage sale, but we opened up the garage and somebody asked something, and then they're like, "What about those vinyls?" And I pulled out your vinyls, and she was like looking through them, and my mom's like, "What are you doing?" And I go, "She wanted to look at the vinyls," and she's like, "You better put those back because I swear to God, your dad's gonna kick your ass." And the first one she pulls out is a Tom Petty vinyl, and Mom's like, "I know for sure that your dad was looking for that vinyl, and he's been trying to find that vinyl, and if you were to sell any of those, that would be the one that he's gonna recognize that that's gone." And I was like, they're not for sale. I'm sorry, ma'am. She's like, "Are you sure?" And I'm like, "Yeah, they're not for sale."
And I know
sorry.
which one it was. It's "Damn the Torpedoes."
Is it like
by Tom Petty?
Is it blue?
Like blue.
Yeah.
Pink, maybe.
Is it blue or pink?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. That you're lucky I didn't sell that. I don't even know how old I was.
You didn't sell it.
I don't know. I would have got my butt kicked for that. Let's go ahead. Let's hop into it right now. Last time we set off on part 1 of the family tree. This is part 2. The lovers met, flirting away like it's nobody's business. And do you know how her Ama's parents found out that they were kind of flirting or talking? Was it did they ever tell you that detail?
No, but small towns back in Mexico.
Word got around.
Exactly. So if you told someone something, then eventually somebody would find out about it, and they would based on that they would in their case they moved my mom. So initially they moved her from one town to that one where my dad was working. And that's when my dad caught her eye and vice versa. And then they found out that my dad was going to take her. So they moved her to another location. So
hold on real quick. We have this beautiful dog named Impa. Sweetie, go. Hi, cabrona. Get out of here. Go on. See, now I know how Kevin Smith feels because he has a podcast and he has this dog named Shecky. And every time they're recording, like, the dog insists on doing something, like, while they're recording. So, back into it, they said that they were, that they moved her first to that town, and then they got word of it from people. Her and Appa. What is Appa's real name? Jose what?
His name is Jose Bogarin Murillo. Murillo, yeah.
I'm guessing that's his mom's last name?
That's his mom's last name.
Okay.
His mom's name is Maria Murillo.
Maria Murillo.
That
kind of sucks.
Yeah,
can't you get made fun of really easily for that?
She was supposedly a small, tiny, dark Tarahumara Indian.
Oh gosh, I forgot about
Tarahumaras are
Indian.
Some of the fastest long distance runners in the world.
So then tell me this, why am I only a short distance runner and short distance swimmer?
Because we have short legs.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to say, because I suck at long distance. I remember, I'm sure my dad remembers this. I used to be on swim team for my high school. And the coach actually, he didn't drop me from the team, but he dropped me from the races. And the reason he dropped me, this was totally unintentional. I did not do this on purpose. But he said I had to swim a 400, and I've never swam a 400. I swim the 50, and I usually place like first or second. You make me swim the 100, I'm third or fourth. Make me swim the 400, dead last. Yeah. And I told him, I'm like, dude, I might need my asthma inhaler. The jerk. He goes, well, if you need your asthma inhaler, just, we'll leave it at the edge of the water and just come up real quick, take a breath, and then swim. I'm like, are you kidding me?
He told you?
He told me that. No, that's not even why I got. That's not even.
I think it's funny.
It's funny, but that's not why I got banned. I got banned because I'm like, all right, like we got to swim, and I was junior varsity. I was JV, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm part of the JV team. So they're like, I went to go use the restroom. They were still on Frosh Soft. So I go use the restroom, and my dad knows if I got to go to the restroom, or I'm not talking about number one, it's going to take a while. I'm like 10 or 15 minutes deep when I do that. So I come back, and he's like, and he points, and I'm like, what? And he points at an empty lane, and I go, what? And I go, that's Frosh Soft 400. And he goes, you were swimming the Frosh Soft 400. I was like, well, you didn't tell me. I'm junior varsity. And he got pissed, and he took me out. I wasn't allowed to swim at all after that.
Oh, so that's the reason why.
That's
you got
the reason
kicked
why.
out.
Yeah, like technically it wasn't my fault, and that's the thing is that even on if you were to look at the yearbook picture, I was part of the JV team, but for whatever reason, he would make me swim. Like at other events, he'd make me swim JV. At other events, he'd make me swim Frosh Soft. So I never knew what I was doing. Like I had to literally write down on my hand what I was doing because he used to switch me constantly. So, not my fault, just stating that for the record. It's set in stone since I recorded this. It wasn't my fault, official. So, they got word of it. They moved her again. Do you know where the hideout was from here?
No, I don't know.
Amon never told you?
No, she tells me that they moved her from that second location to a third location. And since my dad was working the mines, evidently he had money.
Really? From working in the mines? I thought he'd
Not much. I mean, he didn't have much, but I'm sure in those towns, all you have to do is give someone a few stones of opal. 'Cause remember, there were opal mines.
So you think he might have been pocketing some?
Well, no. I mean, it was yours to sell. It's like prospecting for gold.
Okay.
So I'm pretty sure he was able to get some kid to find out information. So
hired a little detective work to go on back in the day.
He knew where she was at, and she was in like a remote area from the town.
Oh, okay. So it's not like she was like miles and miles away.
And it wasn't just like it was an actual like house somewhere away from the town, but he found out where she was at.
Then what happened?
He found out where she was at, and he went to find out, and I think he says that she was coming back from going to like a creek that had natural. It was a natural spring.
Okay.
It was a natural spring of water, and that's where they got their water from. It was their water source, rather. So they got. So she was coming back from getting some water, and my dad kidnapped her. And in those days, like I said, if you kind of flirted with someone,
hold on. All right, hold on. Now, I know everyone listening is like kidnapped. All I'm thinking of is like burlap sack, van with no windows.
Kind of like the cartoon with the wolf. Or was
What
it coyote?
Wolf? The coyote and what, the sheep?
Was it a sheep? I don't know.
Because
anyhow,
can't be the Roadrunner, obviously.
No.
So wait, so was it just like that's how it was established? It was he kidnapped me, or was it like? Do you know the details? Was it a bot going up to a mom and being like, "Hey, you know what? Like, we need to get out of here. It's our time. I love you. You love me, or whatever it was." Or was it him coming in hot on a horse and just grabbing her, throwing her on, and heading out?
No,
Which way was it?
From what I understand, he approached her and he told her, "You're, you and I have been kind of flirting with each other, and I know you like me, and I like you." And she didn't want to go, supposedly. This is my mom's side of the story.
Okay.
She didn't want to go. So then my dad, kind of took it upon himself to, grab her and try to put her on the horse. And she says, supposedly, she says, no, it's okay. It's okay. Let me get on the horse. I want to get on the horse myself. And my mom can ride. And my mom had, she rode the old-fashioned way, like, I think it's called like a side saddle. Yeah, she didn't.
You mean
she didn't? It wasn't a regular saddle.
Oh, okay, you're
like
right. Side saddles.
Yeah, they kind of have to
both
cross
legs
their
are
leg.
both legs
are
are
on one side
yeah.
because in case a woman's wearing a dress.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
So she was able to mount a horse. So supposedly that's the way it was done. I don't know if because that's her version of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does Abba have a version?
I don't remember my dad telling me his version.
All right.
He never really, to tell you the truth, never talked about her. What he did say is, supposedly your mom didn't love me, but yet she stayed with me till the day I died.
Which is, we'll get into this later on, but I do recall we talked about it on Abba's deathbed. Our grandpa did pass away. He was holding on to Amma, and he said, I think he said, did he say, I'm sorry for all the things that I did to you? And she was like, you don't have to be sorry, if I'm still here, or something like that. What did she say? I forgot. It was something along the lines of that, you don't need to apologize because I'm still here and I love you, or something like that.
To tell you the truth, I don't think I was there when he told her these things.
Yeah, I recall that. I also recall Appa making fun of us, saying, why does the girl have short hair and why does the boy have long hair between me and Emily? I do remember that.
When you let your hair grow really long,
that's when I let it.
You had a mohawk?
That was after the mohawk.
Oh, right.
We'll get into that a lot later. So from here, they went off into this. We'll assume it's a sunset. We'll say it's a beautiful moment. We'll say where they went off into the sunset, and next day came, and where did they settle?
Where did they settle? We don't know where they settled. Actually, they did settle in a small little town, and they're all way out in the boonies near the Sierra Madre mountains of Mexico.
I was about to say Sierra Madre, that's in California. I thought you said they immigrated to California.
The mountain range, the Sierra Madre mountain range that stretch from all of North America, I believe.
Is there one?
Because Mexico is part of the North American continent. Anyhow, so it's called the El Llano de los Velas.
Say that one more time.
El Llano de los Velas. Velas means candles. Llano, it's like a flat or like a valley,
So was this more like Baja California, or was it wait, you said Sonero? What? I'm sorry, I'm so. What? Let's just say this. I'm looking it up right now on the map. I see Chihuahua, Mexico.
This is Jalisco.
This is Jalisco.
Yeah.
Where is Jalisco? I'm all looking for it right now.
It's a southern state in Mexico.
I found Jalisco, where Guadalajara is.
So about 9 months later, my brother Max was born. And once
right off the bat.
Well, in those days,
you had to have kids for workers. That's what it was, right? It was free labor. Am I right or am I wrong?
Maybe, I don't know. So once a man would take a woman
loves a woman, kidnaps her on a horse.
So back in the day, in Mexico, if you took a woman and you brought her back, the family didn't accept her. You basically said, "Hey, she's yours. She's yours. Deal with it. You have a kid, You're not allowed to come back. Start your family, and that's basically what happens. So 9 months after that, my brother Maximiliano, the oldest of our 7 siblings, was born, and
The magic of radio.
And it was like that for like the next almost 7-8 years. One after another was born,
And then we're still in Jalisco.
and we were still in Jalisco.
So were you more, like I said, Guadalajara? Were you like
We're more
Puerto Vallarta?
Vallarta. No, we're in near Tequila, Jalisco,
Tequila, Jalisco.
and that's where the tequila is made.
Let's zoom in. Right now I have Google Earth. If you guys don't know what that is, that's literally where you could see the whole world. I got the whole world on my iPad. Here we go, Dad. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to zoom in just for you, Jalisco. You go ahead and you tell me where you were.
Well, it's got to be somewhere near Guadalajara. So,
All right, then let's go
it's got to
ahead.
be around there.
We're going to zoom in.
We're going to zoom in on Tequila, Jalisco.
But it looks like that area. It looks like that area is not too green, and you're telling me that tequila is made there. Did you ever get to visit like the tequila
Distillery?
not distillery, but found it, tequila.
The town?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I went to school there. There was no schools in my hometown of Santa Teresa, Jalisco. That's tequila right there. So
Let's see if we could zoom in and actually find some tequila plants.
from first grade to third grade, I'm sorry, from first and second grade, we're taught
Wait. Before we do this,
there. Okay,
there's one kid born.
there's one kid born.
Let's go down the list.
Okay, so the first one was Maximiliano, and then after that, it was your tia Jovita, and then after Jovita was Everardo, then Emilio, and Emma, and Olga, and me.
So-
But what I understand is my mom also lost like three children, two or three children that were they may have been preemies,
Oh, okay.
and there wasn't obviously great health care. It was out in the boonies. We were all born at home. We were delivered by a midwife.
What's a midwife?
A midwife is
Like a specialist on babies?
like yeah. They're like they're usually women, and they know how to deliver babies, and that's the way they were delivered from the beginning of time. They didn't have hospitals.
Did they do like the whole thing where like they put you in like water or something, and then from there that's the way you're born?
No. You just had them natural.
Dude, you just had at it. That sucks.
Yeah. There was no anesthesia or any of that. You just.
By the way, in
had
Tequila,
the baby.
Mexico, there is a soccer field. Dad, do you remember that soccer field at all?
No, but you see this? That's probably where all the mezcal is growing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what.
Matt is kind of showing me a picture. He's zooming in on.
Can't zoom in
a field
close enough
of,
for the field, but that most likely is because there's no other reason why they would have such, first off, huge fields, because the soccer field's right next to it, and these fields, these rows of plants, are at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. About 8 soccer fields worth of fields, so that has to be the tequila plants.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, and there's more. That was only one little section. Jeez, it's
Well, you got to remember, Casa Cuervo, where they make the tequila, is one of the biggest, companies worldwide known of tequila distilleries.
So do you think if you would have stayed in Mexico, you guys might have started making tequila?
No.
Why is that?
Because the people that owned the haciendas, the Spanish people that came, they owned all the land.
Oh, so you had like no right to that title
You
at
had
all?
no right. My dad used to lease some land from Casa Cuervo, and he used to grow his crops. And it was like a crop share. So whatever he would make from planting and harvesting, he would have to pay Casa Cuervo certain amount of money.
That sucks.
So most people didn't own the land.
There's our house right there in La Mirada.
Oh,
You could
that's
tell.
cool.
You could tell because of the driveway. What's on the driveway, Dad?
Oh, shut up.
Oh, my dad always complains about one thing about our driveway, and it's the key thing you could tell all the way from space how our house looks. I think it's hilarious. My dad doesn't think it's so funny. But nonetheless, from there, I remember Amma always telling us that Amma needed a farm. Amma needed some sort of money, while Appa, apparently, I don't know at what age did Appa went ahead and came to the United States on a work lease?
He was probably, I would say, in his either 20s or 30s. And he would come here and on a contract. It's called the Bracero program, and that was during I don't know if I mentioned it, during the Kennedy and Eisenhower-Kennedy administration. Farmers here in the United States would ask the Mexican government for X amount of laborers to come here and pick the crops. So he may have picked crops from anywhere in California to Arizona to wherever, and then they were paid X amount of money. And the rest of the money was sent to the Mexican government.
Upon the end of getting like taxed on
right,
it.
upon the end of the contract, the laborers were sent back to Mexico, and supposedly the government from Mexico would pay them whatever it was that they didn't
deducted.
that they didn't get paid here.
Which they didn't pay them back.
Right, exactly. So most of them didn't pay them back, and that's the reason why my mom had to work so hard by herself over there.
I just want to clarify that Marilyn Monroe did amazing things for the United States. Thank you so much. Because I don't know, I highly doubt that Kennedy was thinking, what if we just hire Mexican laborers? You know that Marilyn Monroe is sitting out front of her house like, look at this Mexican guy mowing my lawn. Holy crap, what if we just get a whole bunch of them and then the United States will be a lot better? They couldn't turn to the blacks anymore. Already screwed up that one. Can't have that slave anymore. So let's just go a little bit further south. We don't have to go all the way across the country.
Exactly.
But it worked out. Appa ended up staying over here after the work release was done. Who was the first person to come to America?
Christopher Columbus.
No, shut up. Who's the first out of your family?
Okay, I thought I'd throw that in. The Native American were already here. Never mind.
Oh, gosh.
The first, okay, what do you want me to tell you how my mom survived while my dad was
Oh,
in
yeah.
here?
First off, sorry, you're right. I jumped a little ahead. So I
So my dad
remember
was
Amma.
here.
I remember Amma being like, with a little bit of money I had, I went and I bought. It was either a goat or a cow. Which one was it? No, it was chickens.
Neither, yeah.
It was
Okay,
chickens.
actually, what my mom used to do while my dad was over here is she would wash and iron people's clothes. And,
Really?
yeah.
Nobody would do that on their own?
Not everybody did, but it was for the people that had money. So there was a peanut farmer, and it wasn't Jimmy Carter, okay?
Peanut. Really, dude, Jimmy Carter.
Anyway, there was this peanut farmer in Mexico, and he was done harvesting his crop. But there was there was still some peanut plants embedded in the ground, like randomly. Like there might be one here, and there might be another one 5 feet away, and there might be another one 10 feet away. So she asked him, how much do you want from the money that she was making from ironing and washing people's clothes? She asked him, how much do you want for me to pick the rest of the crops? And it's called pepenar. That's what she called it. Pepenar, basically you're getting the scraps. That's what it means, getting the scraps. So he told her you can have it for free or for a real nominal amount of money. She may have gotten it for free. I don't know for sure. I can't remember what she told me, but it wasn't much. And so she picked a bunch of peanuts. You know, peanuts are grown underground, right?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought they were grown in,
like
I don't
like
know why.
a potato.
I thought they were grown in like trees.
No, like a potato.
Not trees, but plants. You know what I mean?
No.
Trees. Yeah, they're from trees.
They're tiny
Dad.
little trees. Called bushes.
Yeah.
Anyway, they grow underground like a carrot or a potato. And she went ahead and she got as much as she could. And
I never knew that.
With the sale of those peanuts, she bought some
Chicken.
She bought some chickens. Then she bought a pig or piglet. And
No, she bought the chickens. She bought the chickens. Then from the chickens, she said that she sold some of the chickens so she could get a pig.
And the pig was a female pig because she was smart.
And then what she did was there was somebody else that had a male pig, and he made a deal with her saying that if they had piglets, that he could split them. Yeah. So then that ended up happening. Then from there, she had more pigs. Then from the pigs, she sold the pigs for goats.
No,
it was goats. Because then from
cows.
It was goats first.
We didn't have goats.
I could have swore it was goats.
No, we didn't have goats.
Okay, then it was cows.
And it was cows.
I know I'm arguing with you. You live there. I'm like, you had goats. What are you talking about?
We didn't have goats.
All right, so from there we went into cows.
Mm-hmm.
And from cows, did you guys go crazy? Did you get ostriches too?
No. We only...
That's no fun.
When we left, we had approximately like 30 head of cattle. It wasn't much, but it was enough to provide enough milk so that we could make somewhat of a living. But my dad still farmed. He still leased some land from Casa Cuervo, and he used to farm. I used to help him out when I was a little kid.
All right. Now that we have the farm settled, we have that situation. From there, we have all the kids being born. You're the last. You're the baby. From there, who was the first one to head out of the kids to America?
Well, first of all the kids were born in El Llano de los Velas. I was born in Santa Teresa, Jalisco. So, some time ago, we moved from one town to another, and it was to better ourselves because we didn't have, I guess, much over in El Llano de los Velas, and it was shortly after that right before we moved from El Llano de los Velas, that my oldest brother moved to the United States.
And that is Everardo.
No, Maximiliano.
Max, yes. Theo Max.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the first one to go, and then he used to help Appa farm over here, correct?
No, my dad would come here on that contract, and he would go back. My brother actually got his passport, and with a passport, you can come and go anytime you wanted to the United States and back to Mexico. So we had an uncle that lived in Tijuana, and whenever he would wanted to see him, he would go to Tijuana. That was his only connection to any other relative.
So that's the uncle that we addressed in part one.
No, that's another one.
Oh, that's another uncle?
Yeah.
How many uncles do we have?
The one that looks like my dad is Benito. God rest his soul, Benito Bogarin. He was actually the only one that spelled his last name with a U. And he argued to his death that...
B-O or B-U?
No, he argued to the death that our last name was with a U, Bogarin.
Really?
He was the only one that was adamant about using "bu" and the U instead of the O.
Was he the oldest?
Actually, he was older than my dad. I don't know if he was the oldest. But we also had an uncle. His name was Juan Murillo. And he lived in Tijuana.
All right, so that was the one that Max used to be in connection with.
Yeah.
Okay, so then from there, who was the next one to come?
You know what? Going back, we had another uncle named Juan
jeez.
Bogarin in Tijuana. But for some reason, my brother would connect a lot with my Tio Juan Murillo. I don't know why.
So,
Maybe because they both like drinking.
Oh, gosh. How many uncles were there?
In Tijuana, there was 2 of them.
No, I mean all together.
I only remember my Tio Benito, my Tio Juan Murillo, my Tio Juan Bogarin, and then my Aunt Susana, who's still alive. That's the last of my dad's brothers and sisters.
And this is why you should never attempt to try to follow your family tree. You find out about people you didn't even know that existed. Does Ama have any brothers or sisters?
Yeah.
How many?
She has 3 sisters actually, and 1 brother, I believe, that are still alive.
Okay. And then how many brothers and sisters does Appa have? You know of?
Just those, the ones
Just,
that I mentioned.
I think it was 4
there was
or
4 of
5.
them only. But on my mom's side, there was 15 of them.
There are 15 kids?
15 kids.
No, there wasn't.
There was no TV.
That's what it is?
There was
We're
no-
bored.
probably
Let's
barely-
just have another kid.
You
Well,
know-
that'll entertain us. We'll watch him walk around, fall down on his ass. It'll be amazing.
You know, we used to entertain us was the radio. That was it.
Yeah, but they didn't
transistor
have.
radio.
But they didn't even have radios per that then.
Well, they may have.
So you guys heard it on the family tree. When you're bored, just have a kid. All right. So who's the next one to go to America? Still haven't established that. I've asked you like 3 or 4 times now.
Next one is my sister Jovita. She, from what I understand, someone was trying to kidnap her, just like my mom.
Wait. So
someone wanted to take her.
So they sent her to America?
Exactly.
Hey man.
And she stayed at my Tio Juan Murillo's house in Tijuana.
Okay.
And she got a job there. And then my brother-in-law, Jose, fell in love with her, and he kidnapped her, kind of.
He did technically, but in all the interest of fairness, he kidnapped her, but he kidnapped her heart first.
Yeah.
He was a charmer, and he charmed her, and you know what, Tio Jose was always really good to Tio, Tio Juita.
I would think so, yes.
There's several stories that you guys will hear later on. One of the greatest stories I heard was from Adam. Adam, our cousin Adam. If you're listening, Adam, hi. You're doing a horrible job as commissioner. He said that he would always be excited when he'd go to visit Tio Jose, because whenever he'd go to visit him, he would treat them to like anything and everything they wanted. So like he'd be like, "Where do you guys want to go?" "We want to go to McDonald's." Like, all right, so they go to McDonald's, they eat McDonald's, and where do you guys want to go now? "Want to go to 7-Eleven to get Slurpees." So they go to 7-Eleven, get Slurpees. He always used to, spoil him. I think the greatest picture I ever saw of Tio Jose was when he was sitting in the living room with my cousin Al and my godfather Mike. And they were, I think Mike had a beer in his hand. He was like 10.
Oh, no, that's not. No, that picture is actually he's younger than I'm about 10. I'm the one that has the beer and the lemon, and it's a Coors. It's a bottle of Coors. And it was for New Year's. And Mike, when you look at him, he's buzzed.
Is he?
And I'm like happy because I'm drinking beer with the adults. And you wonder.
I know, right?
I know. So it was New Year's, and my sister Jovita and my brother-in-law Jose had their cousins and their cousins' kids. So everybody was having a blast, and they said, "Hey, let's take a picture." So when you look at the picture, if you look close at the picture, there's like a bunch of empty boxes on the floor of beer, and I have a beer and a lime. And
why do you have a lime?
Because everybody,
either the beer tasted that crappy to you that you needed a lime.
Everybody did that. Yeah. So, yeah, and I was amazed at that we were drinking because they, obviously, everybody took a picture and it was crazy. That's why we had fun.
So they were. Tia Jovita was the next one to come. Did she come with Tio Jose?
No.
Did Tio Jose came first then, and then he brought Tia Emma over? I mean, not Emma. Emma. Sorry. Tia.
No, they once
Tia Jovita.
Once Jovita and Jose settled. They initially settled there in Tijuana, and then they crossed the border. And they were here initially with passport.
Okay.
And then after that, it was and 9 months later, my nephew Mike was born too.
Okay, so right when they got to America, they're like,
no, he was born over there.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
And my Tio Juan Murillo warned my sister, be careful with Jose, because they say that we're supposedly long-distance relative. Supposedly my grandmother and his grandmother, my great-grandmother, my grandmother and his grandmother were cousins.
Oh.
Or sisters, something like that.
So it's like somewhere there might have been blood, but they didn't know.
Exactly.
I don't know. Jose doesn't have the Bogarin nose, man. So
I don't know.
I'm just saying, our nose is strong in our family.
But he's güero.
That's true.
He's light skinned, just like my dad's side of the family.
Really? Abba was light skinned? No, we saw him dark.
He was light skinned. All
right. So then after that, we have Tia Jovita coming over. Who's next?
My brother Everardo.
And what did he come as?
And Everardo is actually Christina's grandfather.
And is that the musician?
No.
Okay, that's the next
Although
one.
Although he can sing.
Yes, he can.
My brother Everardo can sing. Because do you remember when my father passed?
Yes.
And when we were at the cemetery, we hired a mariachi. And it was a mariachi that my Emilio had originally formed like a long time ago, like in '74, something like that. That played at the at the actual funeral at the cemetery.
I do recall that.
And my brother Everardo was the one that was singing all the songs.
I do recall that.
And those songs were my dad's favorite from Jose Alfredo Jimenez.
All right. Then the next one was...
The next one was
the musician.
No.
It was Tia Ama?
Tia Emma came over here on a passport, but she went back to Mexico.
Why?
Because she only came here on vacation. Lucky her. We stayed behind.
All of us worked.
Yeah.
She came over here for fun.
So she came on a passport, and then she went back, and then my parents were next. They came here, they immigrated, or in other words, when I say immigrated, they got their legal papers in 1967. My sister Olga and I stayed in 67 with my Tio Juan Murillo, as a matter of fact.
I recall you not liking it too much.
Yeah, because I missed my mom and my dad. My brother Emilio, in the meantime, had stayed in the military in Mexico. My sister Emma was here on that passport. So I remember them coming to see us, like for the weekend, at my tío Juan Murillo's.
And you're lucky
And
they
then-
even thought about you.
And yeah, it was only one time, and we stayed there an eternity. To me, it was an eternity. Of course, my tío Juan Murillo, I have to thank him so much, because if it wasn't because of his ¿cómo se dice en español, en inglés? I'm sorry, I started talking in Spanish.
I know.
But anyway,
What was it?
his hospitality, actually.
Oh, there you go. I was going to say him welcoming you into his house. Yeah.
I don't think we would have been here, because his house was always open to us. So,
Well, back in that day, I mean, like, when you were family, like, family was tight.
yeah,
It was woven tighter than any basket could have ever been.
yeah.
With us now, it's not so much, but there's also really good reason. You know, we're spacing out a lot more. We have relatives that live in Arizona. We have relatives that live in the East Bay. We have relatives that live in Florida. We have relatives that live in we have relatives that live in Moreno Valley. Yeah.
Riverside.
We have, everybody lives, so distant, but at the same time so close. I mean, even the Moreno Valley, we're like, oh, a 2-hour drive, come on. Like, sometimes it's a hassle, but at the same time, it's like, back in that day, family was even more than blood. Like, family was very...
We were pretty tight.
Yeah, obviously, to at least take someone in and be like, hey, you know what, we can't take care of them, at least for this time being, but we'll be back. Just take care of them. And there wasn't a hesitation at all, obviously. There might have been. Little do we know. Maybe there was an argument. What do you mean you're leaving me with 2 kids? I don't know how to raise a kid. Did he have any kids at that time?
He had kids.
Okay.
Our cousins from Tijuana, they had goats. That's probably where you got the goat thing. They had goats, and my uncle also had a water. He used to distribute water in a big truck. Looked like I don't know. It was an old truck, like a '49 Chevy, and so he used to distribute water, and he used to take me along with him because they didn't put us in school.
You guys were taken out of school at that point?
No, we weren't in school. We were the only kids that weren't in school. The rest of the kids went to school. So my sister and I were the only ones that used to stay home. She would stay with my tía María Murillo, and I would go with my tío Juan Murillo to deliver water.
So, after that, how long was it? How long did you stay with them for?
I'd say about a year, because we went back. It might have been within the year, because to me, like I said, it was an eternity. We went back to Mexico, and my mom got our papers fixed up.
So from there, you guys finally came over to the United States. And where were you staying at that time?
When we were getting our papers?
Yeah, whenever. No. When you finally got your papers to come to America.
Oh, where did we go?
Where did you guys live? What city?
We lived in San Jose, and we picked.
Really?
And we lived in San Jose, and we lived in Morgan Hill, near Morgan Hill and Watsonville. We picked tomatoes, plums, chilies. The whole family.
Chilies.
And we made enough money to go back. And again, we didn't go to school here, my sister and I. We didn't go to school, so we went back to we made enough money to go back to Mexico, and we stayed there for like the whole year, like 1969. And in 70 we came back, but we didn't go back to the fields. We didn't go back to harvest the crops. We came here, and my dad got a job for a company. It's called Turbo, and what they were doing is they were making the turbines on the jet planes during the Vietnam War.
Really?
Yeah. Him and my brother-in-law had the job.
And he hooked him up.
And it's always like that, word of mouth.
Yeah. Even at my job now, at my job now, it seems like everybody's family gets hired in there. I don't know how and I don't know why. But it's like, they're like, oh, yeah, well, we know this person. Their mother used to work here. And then it's like so on and so forth. So I literally at my job, they probably do like 1 or 2 generations. So you guys finally, this is your second time back over in America. And you're not in San Jose. So where are you staying at?
We're staying we're staying at my sister's house. Tia Jovita and Tio Jose. Well, your tío, my brother-in-law. And soon after that, my dad rented, there was some trailer courts in front of my sister's house. So my dad started renting a trailer, and we all lived in the trailer. It was my dad, my mom, my sister Emma, my brother. No, you know what? My sister Emma was already married. When we went back, she got married to Victor's dad.
Okay.
So they lived in another. They had a little apartment where a little like 1 bedroom. But my mom and my dad, my brother Emilio, my sister Olga, and me lived on the trailer. But I always stayed at my sister Jovita's house because Mike he's 2 years younger than me.
It was something to hang out with.
Yeah, it was some. We played together, we hung out together, and I didn't have any friends, so he was my best friend and obviously my interpreter because I didn't speak English.
So Mike spoke both Spanish and English?
Mike spoke both, yes. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead. We're going to put a pin in it right there with you guys in America. And then we're going to go into part 3, which part 3 is the tragedy. This is when it starts coming soon. I think we're going to get to that point eventually. I think within that hour we'll probably hit it. So unfortunately, the next one I am going to name it as the tragedy. But let's end on a little bit of a light note. We'll consider this a tragedy in your life, but it's one of my favorite stories that my dad used to tell me. Let's go ahead and let's talk about one of the soccer games you had back in Mexico.
Which soccer game was that?
The soccer game. You had the soccer game and you went home and you guys won and your mother had this big victory party for you guys.
Oh, God. Okay.
I'm going to let my dad take it away on this one, and you will find out why this is my favorite story.
Okay, so we mentioned chickens, piglets, cattle. I don't know if we mentioned horses, but...
We didn't mention horses.
But anyhow, one of my fondest memories of growing up in Mexico was that we
he said fondest on this, okay? So just because it's the fondest doesn't mean it's the most pleasant.
Exactly. But one of the fondest memories of me is growing up basically like a farmer, I helped my dad with the ox and the plow. And
he made you drink the first of the milk that would come out of the cow, and it was disgusting. God. Okay, so one of our pigs had piglets, and there was one piglet that I liked because it was white and black. It was beautiful. So this little piglet was mine. Everybody knew he was mine. I fed him nothing but corn, and he grew up to be a really nice looking hog. Anyhow, was he big?
Oh, he was big. So it's my birthday.
He was corn fed, of course he was.
Yeah. So it's my birthday, and I go with my friends, and we have this big soccer match, and my mom basically she told me, go ahead and have a good time. We're gonna we're going to have a party for you for your birthday. And I go, oh, wow, that's cool. I get to play and not do any chores around the house. So we have this soccer game with my friends. And I come home and everybody's like, the whole town's invited, you know. We're having a good time. They're making chicharrones and carnitas in this big, like, copper, like case, like this big old, we call it tina.
It's a kettle.
Yeah, there you go. It's a big copper kettle. Huge. And this guy's got like an our, you know, from like a
witch.
Yeah,
like a witch just cauldroned over it.
Like a ship's, you know, like if he's rowing a
canoe.
Shut
up, seriously?
Yeah, an oar, yeah. And
no, that big?
And he's turning the carnitas and the chicharrones and there's everything's sizzling, man, and everything smells real good and we all ate and stuff, and everybody had a great time, right? And I don't know if it was that same day or the following day. I must have been about 6.
Yeah, you were 6. You told me that.
Yeah, I was must the following day or even that same day later on. I went to check on my pig, and I asked my mom, ¿Dónde está mi puerquito? Where's my little pig? Because even though he was really big, he was my little pig.
Yeah.
And she says, well, how do you think we had this big fiesta for you? And I was devastated. I was devastated. I was like,
oh, she made you eat
cried.
Your pig.
I cried.
Did you puke him up at least? Did you puke him up and like hold it up and go, ¿Por qué?
No. No.
He's in my tummy now. At least he was part of you for a short period of time. All right, you guys, we're going to go ahead. We're going to put a pin in it. This is part 2, the hideout of the family tree. Once again, I am MTR, also known as Matt the Rat, but for this podcast, I am Matthew David Bogarin. And joining me is my dad, whatever name you go by. What is your... Noe Bogarin. No, isn't it Noe Jose?
Jose Noe Bogarin, but...
Wait, why
everybody calls me just
Noe Jose Palacio, isn't it?
No, Noe Bogarin Palacios.
There you go. Oh, you're supposed to put the female name at the end?
Exactly. That's the way you do it in Mexico.
All right, you guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed listening. Remember, the next podcast, part 3, unfortunately, I am naming it The Tragedy. You guys have a great week. Tune in next time.